Are you guys ready for a challenge?
Yeah.
No.
You don't sound ready. Let's try it again. Are you ready for a challenge? Yes. Okay. So
Students often tell me, well, I have an IEP, miss, and there's a pause. They continue the sentence, and they're like, that means that I can't do X or can't do Y. And at that point, I'm like, let's stop the conversation. An IEP doesn't mean you can't do anything. It just means that you do things differently or learn differently. It may be a different route than everybody, but that's what math is. Like we all, take different ways to get to the end result.
you got it, girl. That's it. Perfect.
So
All right.
walking to her class is always very positive. Students are very well behaved and are very eager to learn. She creates an environment that is conducive to learning through differentiation.
So basically differentiation in the classroom, especially in my classroom, all stems from that student's IEP. An IEP is an individualized education plan, and it basically is a guide to how that student learns best, their services, their accommodations, such as testing accommodations, and basically how best to instruct that student. And from there, I also look at, what are other things, their strengths, their weaknesses, and their needs, and learning styles. From there, I take that and I then look at my lesson and I try to connect my lesson to each of those students' needs. So for example, it may be for one student that maybe one student may need a sentence starter in a portion of the lesson because that's what they're working on. They're working on explaining in math. Or maybe another student may need more time or may take more time writing notes. So that student may have scaffolded steps.
I recall looking at her lesson plan and thinking to myself, wow, this must have taken a really long time. She includes questions on her lesson plans and has various activities for different students. And you can tell that a lot of thought and planning goes into the lesson.
Does someone want to come up and try graphing? Lauren, come up. Go, Lauren. Go, Lauren. Go, Lauren. Go, Lauren.
So a lot inspired me to be a teacher. Initially, I had a traumatic brain injury, a concussion, in my freshman year of college. And because of my experiences through that, where I basically had to relearn how to add, how to subtract, how to do all those things, I knew what it was like to not understand, especially because I knew what it was like to understand before. And that frustration that I felt when looking at math problems then, or even reading, I could really connect with students. So as a part of giving back, because I made it through that, I wanted to become an educator, specifically a special education teacher, and even more specifically, a math special education teacher.
It's very rare to find someone who is so passionate about teaching and teaching special education in the way that Francesca is.
Kalia, since this is about you, can you read Kalia?
Kalia says that it is at the intersection.
I want them to see the world from their perspective and not the perspective that someone else may have steered them. Like I want them to see the whole world, not like, okay, well you have an IEP, so you should only be looking at this lens. And I feel like a lot of students have heard that before or maybe assumed it, and that's most definitely not the case. That they can conquer the world, and I always tell them, you can do whatever you want to do. You just have to put in that work and that effort, but don't let anything stop you.